Welcome back to BSRTV for the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship Round 6 here from Spa Francorchamps, the last race of the evening. Chris Cohen in the commentary box calling the shots alongside Adam Barth. Welcome back, Adam.
Thanks a lot, Chris. I cannot wait for this final race.
And it is going to be a top 20 reverse grid. We've got confirmation. We had an update in the week to say it was only going to be top 10 because iRacing couldn't do it, but it seems like the series organisers have managed to sort that one out. So, the winner of the last race will be starting in 20th place. Savidovic must be wondering why the gods, the racing gods, have punished him, Adam.
Yeah, he's got to fight his way all the way back up, and he's one of great drivers to try and overtake. 5
bonus points for him. Fastest lap in that last race as well, having led a number of laps, well, just the last one in fact. Jake Tucker, having led a few laps, came a very close second place. Hoog in third, Lopez fourth, Rushworth fifth. And just talking about the championship for a moment, Adam, Hoog is currently leading that championship going into tonight's racing, so the points haven't been updated with any of the rounds from this evening yet. Sutton was in second in the championship, and third place was Chepalewski. But those three top spots in the championship, those are separated by just 8 points. That's incredibly tight.
Yeah, and at the end of this weekend, end of this race meeting, I'm expecting Savidovic to be right up there at the top of the championship.
Depending on his result in the third race, of course, he's going to be starting 20th. But the front of the grid is just as interesting to me because whole position in this race, Peter van Gool. That'll be a position he's unaccustomed to being in, Adam.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what these people that are probably new to being at the front are going to handle this pressure.
So second place on the grid will be Robert Plumley, and then row 2 will be Richard Wilde and Reggie Blaine. Row 3, Brewstrom and Dan Hunt. And then that means that in the top 5 drivers there's 2 Movie Go drivers, and that's a big chance for them to score big points.
Yeah, the champions from last year, they'll be able to score some more points, and if not that, wins.
Well, the car's just warming up now. We've only got 4.5 minutes until we go down to the grid. But how high can Savidovic really expect to get, considering he's only got 8 laps to do it?
Well, if he gets through the usual carnage at the start of the race, he should gain a few spots. But then again, in race 2, Jamie Rushworth started 10th, and after the first lap had only gained 2 spots. So it's really a matter of what goes on in those first few corners.
Indeed, Adam Terry starting 9th, could be interesting. Maybe 10th actually. Can't count. Job starting from 11th. The Mawson-Critchley pairing will be 12th and 13th. And then the big names, Chepalewski, Katz, Rushworth, Lopez, Hoog, and then Tucker, and then Savidovic. So basically the all-stars of this championship are going to be starting pretty much with 20 cars to overtake. And now there's going to be some nervous guys at the front of that grid, Adam. We've got Peter van Gool, not used to being there. Robert Plumley races absolutely everything. I'm sure it won't faze him. Reggie Blaine perhaps not quite so used to starting so far forward. Dan Hunt, same story. And the very first thing they see is one of the most infamous corners in motor racing, Eau Rouge.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if they can hold their mettle against these, as you say, all-stars of the championship.
Well, not only will they have that imposing corner in front of them, they will have some of the most imposing drivers behind them as well. I just hope we don't get a big 20-car wreck of the first 20 cars as we head out on the first lap. But the Kemmel Straight will certainly be very interesting on the first lap. Safety car is possible, although only if there's quite a large wreck, because it will slow down the cars for a very long time. It'll be here till about midnight by the time a safety car gets around enough laps to go back in there, I think. And that, in fact, we're just looking at the overhead, the blimp cam there, in the pink mirrored STB Bianco car there is Laura Bond, and we haven't heard much from her this evening, Adam.
No, Laura's been involved in quite a few wrecks, especially in the first race at the start, so hopefully she has a good final race.
Well, we hope so too. The Laura Bond fan club, I'm sure, is active out there as always. And Russell Laidler in the YouTube comments says, "Hi Mum." So Mrs. Laidler, if you're out there watching, I hope you're wishing your son well in the virtual form of the motor racing that he's taking part in this evening. Two eBay Motors cars there warming up in close proximity. Seems like they want to race each other even when they're warming up, Adam.
Yeah, even at this warm-up stage they're battling each other. After all, the number one goal for you as a racing driver is to beat your teammate.
Well, that's certainly true, and two teammates that will be lining up next to each other on the grid are this man, Reggie Blaine for MovieGo Racing, and also Linus Brustrom. The two of the four MovieGo Racing drivers. Robin Smith will be starting from... I don't know. Can't find his grid spot. There it is. He'll be starting 23rd. Rushworth will be starting from 16th. So, well, you could say that's a good thing, really. All the MovieGo cars are in the top half. And MovieGo are second in the points championship right now, having won the championship last year, but there's a hell of a lot more riding on this because it's a $1,000 prize fund for the winning team. Not for the winning driver, Adam, for the winning team. So that's something that's going to require a bit of teamwork.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting throughout this whole season. We go to a whole load of different racetracks, and the team will be trying to work as hard as they can to get their drivers up near the front.
And plenty more racing here on BSR TV, as well as this evening with the touring cars. We have the GT Sprint Cup, the McLarens, the BMWs and the RUFs on Tuesday night. That's with Jake Cameron and Marcus Narris, with Laura Bond directing that one. And Mondays is the Skip Barber night, of course, the UKNI Skip Barber League every Monday, with some excellent quality racing from all concerned. Okayama, that video is up there on the YouTube page already. And the biggest compliment you can pay us as a viewer, of course, is to give us a YouTube subscribe. Hit that nice subscribe button. And right next to that as well, there's a little cogwheel on your video. You can change it over to watch in glorious HD if that's your kind of thing. Get an even better picture quality than you already have. Plenty of reasons to subscribe then. 3 races, or 3 race nights, in fact, a week. As we head down to the grid now, I want to know where Savidovic can get from 20th place, Adam. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this race as the cars are starting to grid up now. Those MovieGo cars are looking pretty ominous.
They are. They absolutely are. I don't know how they're going to fare. Let's see if we can try and find Peter Van Gool right at the front in that Karcher machine. He's been a dyno jet driver for a long time, and he's going to have to prove himself from the front. Nobody expects him to win this race, but just keep it steady and keep it on the track. Go as quick as you can through Eau Rouge for the first time. We're about to find out exactly how many of these cars can get through that infamous corner this time round, as we've got the green light for round 3 from Spa. We're underway. Peter Van Gool leads the field away. Robert Plumley is in second place, and Richard Wilde is in third. Those are the 3 cars on your screen right now as they're coming through Eau Rouge for the first time. Can everybody get through this ominous corner? Everyone's kept it remarkably clean so far. Oh, except 2 cars at the back. One of the CQRs is off, and we've got a rolling car. I can't see which one that is. Everybody else has slowed down. Good old James Hickson's managed to stay out of the way as well.
Safety car.
The safety car is out. The safety car is out, and we were just looking forward to these cars absolutely revving it down the Kemmel Straight, and everybody starts to slow down now. And Adam, this is what we feared.
Yeah, this is not what we wanted. Andrew Whitehead, I can tell you, is involved in the CQR car, and Steve Hefford in the Triple Eight entry as well.
Well, let's see if we can get a replay on your screen, because we will be seeing a heck of a lot of slow-moving cars for a long time out there on the circuit. We're just trying to cue that one up on the replay now, if we possibly can. So here we...
Poor Simon Field is involved with it as well. I'll let you go through the replay.
Oh, and that actually happened in front of Steve Hefford. I don't think... Oh, and James Hickson was involved in that as well. There's the 34 machine there of Benjamin Gregory. So let's go back a little bit further on the tape and see if we can see what happened from Ben Gregory's point of view. Here's the start. Now that's the CQR machine. Just coming past him there. Oh, and the CQR machines have collided with each other! I think that's what's triggered it. I think those two CQR cars have had a coming together. And Ben Gregory looks to have got through that without too much damage. There's some more carnage going on up front. There's cars everywhere. Well, we missed a further crash because we were looking at that, but wow, can we go back a little bit further and see what happened at the start of that race? Because yes, we can. Well, that's bizarre, Adam. It really is.
You can almost pick an accident to watch. There was like 4 separate incidents. I was keeping an eye out at the back, and they'd almost made it through Eau Rouge cleanly, but then, just coming off Eau Rouge, it all went crazy.
Well, I'm just trying to look at the 2 CQR cars that were involved there. I think Sutton was one of them. So he's starting quite far back. Ash Sutton's collided with the back of his teammate, the 67 machine, which belongs to Andrew Whitehead, and it looks like Whitehead just got out of shape on the brakes and Sutton couldn't avoid him, and there's a huge pile up behind them. And then the second incident at the top of Eau Rouge, I have no idea. I've absolutely no idea what happened there, but well, Sutton gets through there, but his teammate Laidler looks to have been caught up in that. Hickson's caught up in it, Gregory's caught up in it. There's about 7 cars in that, and then a whole load more at the top as well. A whole load of cars taking advantage of the ability to pit here, but it's a long old pit road because you've got to come into one pit and then come out again and go in another pit. Oh, and somebody spun on pit road. That's your own Kaiser, is it? Simon Field, maybe. Might have been Simon Field. A bit of an incident on pit road there. Let's see what happened. Oh no, it's one of the AMD cars. Who is that? Can't see which car it is. Can you?
Just looking at the replay now.
I think we were looking at Aaron Gearing there. Well, Gearing... Well, he's rolled his car on the way into the pits, and he was too wide with us. They're both waiting there. Well, what? That's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, and he's going to wish we hadn't found that one on the camera, I'm sure, but we have. And he's rolled his car coming into the pit lane, Adam.
Unbelievable.
Well, why the 2 of them were side by side, the CQR machine and the AMD, we will never know. And why he collided with the pit wall there, we will never know. Maybe he had some kind of damage. So while we've got this opportunity, Peter Van Gool still leads this race, Adam, and he's going to get the points for laps led, even though no one can overtake him. I mean, that's still the way it goes, I suppose. So, well, he'll be relishing this, won't he? Right at the front.
Yep, a few less laps to hold off the rest of the chasing pack. Just looking at the all-stars, as we would call them, in the lower half of the teens, they look like they've maintained their grid positions, so nothing much has happened there.
So I can tell you now, the positions are Peter Van Gool, Robert Plumley, Richard Wilde, Blaine Brewstrom. Burleson is in 6th. Hunt, Zuzov, Adam Terry, and David Baker. Well, it was a thrilling start to the race, but now we have several laps of pace car. So at least we've got the opportunity to, well, calm things down a little bit. And we'll have to wait for this pace car now to come back into the pits, which, well, we might be waiting a little while.
Yeah, this happened in a test race which the BSR TV crew did on Wednesday night. There was a crash at the start. They brought the safety car out. It did 2 laps, and then it came in. The lights are off on the top of the safety car, so it looks like we should be getting back to racing at the end of this lap.
Now, are we past the end of the lap? So is it going around another time? That's the question. Because the start-finish line's here, but will the pace car pull in here? Because
no, there's no gap in the pits for the safety car to peel in, so we will be going around for another lap.
So one more lap around Spa Francorchamps behind the pace car with Peter van Gool in the lead. He needs to calm his nerves and realise that when he gets round, he's only going to have 5 laps before the end of the race. A bit of psychological game by Plumley going around the outside there at Eau Rouge, keeping him on his toes. But this is a new thing for us, really, in the touring car series, not having had the safety car before. Probably warranted under that situation, though.
Yeah, they did say in the regulations the safety car will be brought out if there was a massive incident, and to be fair, that was quite a big one.
Well, 2 separate ones, in fact, as well. That's not something we wanted to see, for sure. But Peter van Gool's got to be, he's got to be loving this, hasn't he?
Yeah, he is. In terms of his teammates, though, the rest of the Karsha cars of Andreas Katz, Niels Jordan and Eckhart von Glan, they are in...
Katz is there in 15th.
Yeah, so he's pretty isolated from his teammates compared to, say, the MovieGo cars.
Well, there's Niels Jordan. That Kia's seen better days. So let's hope he hasn't got damage. He's down in 31st. He finished 30th in the last race. Von Glan is just a few places ahead of him there. You can see him there in 27th place. Laura Bond in the pits. Obviously involved in that first lap melee there. Gearing, who we saw roll the car on the way into the pits, is still in there. Andrew Whitehead, the driver who possibly sparked off that first incident by getting loose on the brakes. Hefford was involved as well, and Rob Burton there is another driver involved. So we lost quite a few. Now I can tell you Savidovic hasn't changed from his grid position. He's in 20th place, Adam, so he's got even less time to get to the front now, and he's got to be kicking himself that safety car's come out.
Yes, but then again, they're all bunched up in front of him, so he can peel them off one by one. But you're right, the question is, does he have enough time?
We will find out. The safety car will be in this lap, and it has been now 20 minutes since we went on air, so we will be a little bit late finishing this evening. So apologies if you have somewhere else to be. Why would you have somewhere else to be? Where else could you possibly be? That's the question. Chepolevsky in the 14th spot, iRacing. Katz right behind him, ready to sink his claws in. And Tucker behind him. In what could be Pertek's best evening of touring car racing in a number of seasons.
Yeah, they must feel, though, a bit deflated after just losing out in race 2 to Savidovic. However, second place, great result for the team.
Well, on my screen at least, these drivers are swapping positions. That can't be right. Robert Graham. Well, Robert Graham's got the go-round. So, he obviously came out of the pits and got stuck behind the safety car, so he'll be... Well, let's hope he has got the go-round, otherwise he's going to get a black flag, because he's showing classified as first right now. Oh, no, he's in the pits. Well, if he crosses that start-finish line before the rest of the cars, surely he will be black flagged here. Anyway, we're ready to go racing here. Peter van Gool will lead the field away, very, very wide out of the bus stop, going down into turn 1. He seems to have got the jump on them as well. Plumley seems to have fallen asleep there, and it's going to fall back into the clutches of Richard Wilde as all the cars now filtering through, but they're all spread out a huge amount, Adam.
Yeah, I don't know whether Van Gool was trying to run wide to get the best possible exit, speed-wise, onto the start-finish straight, but he's done a good job. He's pulling away from Plumley massively as we head into Eau Rouge.
And look at this, they're still coming through the bus stop now. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. And Well, that's the two Karcher machines right there at the back, and they're still coming through as we speak. Well, we can't spend any more time looking at them as we come down to Kemmel Straight for the first time under racing conditions. There's a 888 off on the grass there. Peter Van Gool leads from Robert Plumley second, Richard Wilde third. Question is, how long is it going to be before Richard Wilde finds his way around these two drivers? Because on paper, he is the faster out of well, he's the fastest out of all of these three drivers. Now there's a 2.5 second gap behind Richard Wilde to Reggie Blaine, and Savidovic is 16 seconds off the lead. That is incredible.
Yeah, I think it shows how inexperienced these guys are to the safety car, because they didn't bunch up very well on the restart.
Well, Wilde keeping it nice and tight as we head down the hill. He is the front running eBay Motors driver, ahead of Koba Lopez, who's a full 15 places behind him right now. There's a CQR car off on the left there. I'm not sure what that's doing there, or why it's there. Well,
but now Plumley's right on the back of Van Gool as we come round to complete the lap.
Well, Plumley always broadcasts his races live on YouTube as well. It'd be interesting to be seeing his in-car right now, but you can always go back and watch that one later. That'll be a fascinating race to watch if you can find him on YouTube, which won't be hard, trust me. Now he's down the inside of Blanchimont. Van Gool runs wide, but they're side by side. Now if Van Gool can hold his line here, he will have the inside into the bus stop. Oh, and Richard Wilde looks down the inside of Plumley. Richard Wilde for second place takes it away from Robert Plumley, and Robert Plumley's attack turned into his downfall there as the two Movie Go drivers are now catching up at him.
Yeah, he was trying for the lead and now he's down to third place. Let's see what these Movie Go cars can do to close the gap.
Well, I just love this view down the start-finish straight, well, would be the start-finish straight in Formula 1 at least, and all of these cars now filtering through, and they are bunching up, it's fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah, they're starting to come together now, and Richard Wilde is making no attempts at trying to get past Van Gool as we head over Eau Rouge. He's straight onto the back of the Karcher racing car.
Well, will he make his move down the Kemmel Straight? Van Gool's going to need to go defensive and take the left-hand side of your picture, the right-hand side of the track. Richard Wilde is now alongside. Van Gool should be able to hold this one. Oh, he's got so far past him already. He won't be able to fight off that, and Richard Wilde is through and takes the lead. But oh, and Plumley's slipping through as well. Not quite. But Peter Van Gool led this race for an entire racing lap against all the odds. He knows he's not the fastest driver, but he did a fantastic job. And now two green and white Movie Go cars are on the attack. Reggie Blaine and Linus Broström. And don't forget, Broström having an arm injury is racing with one arm. And just look at this behind as well. Dan Hunt, Zuzov behind him. Race winner from the last race, Job. Would-be race winner, I should say, from the last race, Job, is in 9th. Baker and then Terry. And we haven't heard much about Adam Terry tonight, have we, Adam?
No, he's been languishing in the middle bit of the top 10. However, he's doing okay at the moment, 9th place.
Well, that's the view from the front of Terry's car. As we're more than halfway through on race distance now. He's looking for a way around David Baker up in front. Savidovic still in 20th though, and his problem really is that he's got a whole load of fast guys in front of him, including former champion, last season's champion, reigning champion I should say, Jamie Rushworth. He's got Koba Lopez behind him. That's going to be a fascinating battle to watch. And just look at Stefan Hoog attack the back of that Pertec machine. Hoog and Tucker, of course, right near the front in the last race as well. That chrome restart machine thought about it. Down the inside, Lopez on Rushworth. Rushworth with the number 1 car, signifying his championship last time round, holds on to it. We've seen a cheeky move like that before from Lopez, haven't we? Look how defensive Rushworth has to go to keep the Iberian behind him. But he will do it, Adam.
Yeah, Jamie Rushworth won race 1 earlier this evening. Sadly, we weren't able to bring you it. But so he's already accomplished one race win today, but he's now having to hold off Lopez as we head into Eau Rouge.
Oh, surely not too wide through Eau Rouge. That would be too much to take for one evening, surely. Oh, and Lopez goes for the exit. I think he might have got it, you know. It's a good run down the Camel Straight. He might well have Rushworth here. Rushworth's going to make him go the long way round, surely. Well, Rushworth's staying on the outside. Look how close these guys are. Huger's made a move on the inside of Tucker as well. Almost 4 into one corner. Rushworth held on to it, and I thought Lopez... Oh, and we've got cars off in front.
Crutchley
and Adam Terry. Adam Terry's off. Well, let's go back and have another look at that one. Here's the incident. Yeah, Critchley runs too deep into the corner, collides with the back of Adam Terry's car. That one is all on Kevin Critchley, I feel, and yeah, race over for Adam Terry. That's not what Adam Terry wanted at all. Let's go back and have another look at it from his point of view at least. Here we go, full racing speed then. Critchley around the outside. Terry holds the corner. Bang. And you have been Critchley'd. Terry's still running with a bit of damage in 19th. Critchley is... I'm not sure where he is in the standings. That moves Savidovic up to 18th with 3 laps to go. And he's got Hoog and Tucker still battling it out in front of him. And Rushworth is just not giving up the ghost, is he?
No, he's not. I can just to let you know, Kevin Critchley is in 23rd position.
So Critchley losing out a little bit more from that, which is probably the right outcome, but Terry will still feel very hard done by. And if Mum and Dad are watching this evening, as they understand they normally do, that's it's got to be tough to watch. So your lad's going to have to work hard to come back from that, which I'm sure he will do as well. Rushworth. Sorry, go on.
Sebastian Job is battling at the moment with one of the Airwaves cars, and they've just gone wide into the bus stop. Job is trying to work his way up the order, but he's now lost 2 spots.
Well, Job just running a bit deep, late on the brakes in the 37KX club card there, and well, that's what happens. You can lose a lot of time there, but I tell you what, CQR's Craig Burleson is up to 6th place and running fantastically well. I didn't even notice, but he's crept right onto the back of the lead group. Peter Van Gool, meanwhile, is still holding on to 3rd place. Richard Wiles disappearing off in the distance, but Van Gool and Plumley are on about the same pace. The Movie Go cars haven't yet made their attack. Oh, and they're side by side now. That could get interesting. The number 7 car belongs to Reggie Blaine, and the number 4 belongs to Linus Brewstrom. Would you want to go too wide with your teammate here? That seems ill-advised. Well, they are. And Brewstrom has to give it up to Blaine again. And that's allowed Burleson the opportunity. Craig Burleson might just be able to get even higher than 6th position here. That would be some consolation for CQR after their woeful start to this race, with 2 of their own cars taking each other out. Well, nothing, no real opportunity for Burleson yet. Dan Hunt running incredibly well. He's a privateer this season, having been dropped from the eBay Motors team, but he says, you know, stuff it, eBay Motors, I'm going to finish high without you anyway, and he is in 7th place right now, Adam. Great job for him so far.
Yeah, well done to him at the moment. We've got 2 laps to go. Just informing you on the progress of the other eBay Motors cars. Andreas Katz is under pressure from Koba Lopez in this gaggle of cars as we head to the final part of the lap. Lopez is going around the outside, nearly contact, and he is past Andreas Katz. And watch for Jamie Rushworth trying to become opportunistic as we head to Blanchimont.
Well, this is a fantastic battle to watch. Lopez just using his Iberian muscle to move the German out of his way, too wide, through the kind of twisty, chicaney part of the circuit there. Fantastic driving from both of them to stay out of trouble. But oh, and just up in front of these guys as well, Tim Mawson. Surely he wouldn't think he's got the he wouldn't have the cheek to have a go at Chepalewski, would he?
I bet he was really enjoying this. He's right up the front of the pack, having a go with some of the best of the drivers. And
don't forget, 2 seasons ago, Tim Mawson, who was a back marker, I'm sure you won't like to be reminded, but he, as a back marker, crashed into the back of championship leader Stelian Chepalewski. And this could be a similar kind of situation, although he's not a back marker right now. But David Baker loses out there. Baker down to 12th. Chepelevsky up to 10th position. Scoring very well. Chepelevsky, the man who took the Senna Trophy last week. We awarded it to the driver we thought best across all 3 races, and that was Chepelevsky. Even if he's not top on points right now, he impressed us the most last week, and continues to impress this week as well, Adam.
Yeah, another consistent race weekend for Chepelevsky. Scored high in race 1 and in race 2, and doing okay now in race 3 as we're on the final lap.
Well, Richard Wilde, there you see him. He's got a 3-second advantage over Robert Plumley. That's Robert Plumley in second, and then a whole gaggle of cars coming through all the way down to 8th place there. Van Gool holds on to 3rd position. This could be his best result in a very long time in this particular series. Can he hold on for one more lap, Adam?
Yeah, it's going to be close. His last season he finished 18th overall in the series standings, so 3rd place in this race will be good for his championship.
And Van Gool, another driver to broadcast his races live, so be good to see from his point of view. He's running a little bit slower than the guys behind him, and he's coming under pressure, but he's holding on well. He's only got about half a lap left at Spa, so barring any mistakes, should hold on to the final podium spot as Reggie Blaine. Oh, I thought he was having a look down the inside, the Scotsman, but couldn't quite get the door wide enough open to have an opportunity. Brewstrom might have to settle for 5th here. Oh, and Job almost down the inside of Dan Hunt, but Hunt holds on to 7th, and Job's run wide, but Zuzov won't be able to capitalise. Oh, look how wide Hunt's gone there. Doesn't seem to have cost him any speed though, so he should be okay. As Richard Wilde now comes around the last few corners, he's going to claim his first victory of the season, and a great win for eBay Motors, all things considered.
They were languishing down the team standings after Silverstone, so this win should put them back up there.
Well, that's Richard Wilde.
Van Gool's been spun out by the movie go car. Sorry to cut across you there, Chris, but that is massive shame.
Oh, on the last corner as well. He's got to get that car going. 14th, 13th. I don't know where he's finished. He's way down the order. Well, let's go back and have another look at that. What's happened to Dan? Oh no, Dan Hunt's finished the race and just stopped his car, so let's not get too excited. Peter Van Gool, who was on for 3rd place. Well, forget about the rest of the results till we have a look at that, I think. Now these are the last few corners here. And that's Reggie Blaine just behind him, coming into the bus stop on the final lap there. Van Gool gets a poor exit, it has to be said. Well, it seems to just barged out of the way and then collected by the second movie go car as he comes back onto the track. Now, I'm sure that Van Gool will feel hard done by there, but I am also sure that the movie go drivers will say, hey look, we just carried on with the racing line. What's your take on that?
Yeah, he did give Reggie Blaine a bit of an opportunity. For some reason, he took a very wide entry into the final part of the bus stop chicane and practically invited Reggie Blaine down the inside, but it was a bit unfortunate that when he came back on, he was collected by Linus Bostrom.
Well, good move for Blaine to get down the inside of Van Gool. That wasn't what did it. It was Linus Bostrom behind as well, and wow, Peter Van Gool's potentially best result of the season has turned into one of the races he'd most like to forget, I think, as we go across the finish line now. Well, that's not how we wanted it to end, surely.
I'm getting Savidovic shown in 13th position. I don't know what happened in the midfield on the final lap, but he's managed to gain quite a few places.
Well, our results on the screen say he's in 10th, but surely not.
Yeah, I've got him in 10th now.
Wow. Okay, so he's moved up 10 whole places off the grid. Richard Wilde takes the victory in convincing fashion for eBay Motors. Robert Plumley 2nd. Reggie Blaine and Linus Bostrom 3rd and 4th in controversial circumstances. Sebastian Job 5th. Hunt, great result, 6th. Zuzov and Chepelevsky, a double act for iRacing in 7th and 8th. Mawson 9th. Couldn't get past Chepelevsky, or didn't dare in the end, but great result nonetheless. Savidovic in the top 10 once again. Jake Tucker 11th, then Hoog, then Terry. Then poor old Peter Van Gool and Dave Baker 15th. And then Jamie Rushworth in 17th, and Koba Lopez could only manage 18th in the end, Adam.
Yeah, I've just had a look at the replays. There was a crash between him and... I'm just having a look. There was a crash between him and David Baker, and that's what gave Davidovich the opportunity to gain all those places.
Well, I'm going to take a little bit of a punt now, and he must be incredibly upset right now, but we'll see if we can get a word with him for the TV anyway. Peter Van Gool.
Hello there, Chris.
That must be one of the most disappointing results in your touring car career.
Well, that's about right.
I think that you'll feel hard done by the Movie Go drivers there.
Well, I think Reggie was a little bit too fast into the last chicane, and he just overdid it.
So we saw you go a little bit wide into the final chicane, but talk us through that last few corners.
Yeah, Reggie was really on my back, and so I did a little bit of late braking into the last chicane. And I'm watching the replay as we're speaking, and yeah, I did brake pretty early, so I could just stop them off. So he had to brake early too, but he just tried to do the under over, and he messed it up. He went too wide and pushed me off, and then.
Well, regardless of the finish, what you can take away from that is that you led an entire racing lap against all the odds and held on to third place for most of that race. So you must be delighted to be able to do that at least.
Oh yeah, well, it was a good race, and it was good fighting with Linus, and it was a bit quicker on some parts of the track than he was. So.
Well, Karcher still benefited from your 14th place finish anyway. So how is the new team working out?
I think the new team is working out pretty fine. I don't believe Eckert had a lot of much of luck this race, but Katz and I and Colin did well, I think.
Well, excellent driving. Just a shame about the finish, but we hope to see you back up in that position again in the coming races.
Yeah, I hope to get some top 10 finishes coming races, and we'll see what happens next lap.
Thanks, Pete.
Cheers, Dick.
And that's Peter Van Gool there for Karcher. Let's see if we can grab the man who he will surely blame for that, who is none other than Linus Broström. You got time for a quick word, Linus?
Yeah, sure.
Welcome to BSR TV. And understandably, we've just heard from Mr. Van Gool, who feels like you might have cost him that 4th place. How did you see that?
Well, I saw Reggie diving up the inside of him, and they both ran a bit wide, and I did what I could to stay inside of him, stay on the track, and then when I saw him coming down as much as he did across back onto the track, I lifted, so when we made contact I was completely off the throttle.
Well, you both got the replay to look at, I suppose, and it is unfortunate for Pete. Obviously he's a little bit disappointed, but it did promote Movie Go to 3rd and 4th, so a good result for you guys.
Yeah, we had a really good race. I mean, I feel really bad for Peter, and I'm gonna try and get to talk to him now, see what he says and apologize, but I don't know if that was my fault or not.
Well, we'll have to let the viewers at home decide. Obviously we've got all the pictures on BSR TV, and I'm sure they'll put their comments in YouTube for you to read later, and everybody else as well. But Jamie, after a great result in the first race, didn't finish quite so strongly after that. Okay, moving on.
Was that to me or to Jamie?
No, that was to you.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to Jamie. No, I don't know really what happened to him. But obviously this track is really hard to overtake when you're way at the back. And
Movie Go Racing currently coming into this round, we're in 2nd place. And how confident are you can get back to that top spot?
Well, we had a good day. We had, I think, 10 out of 12 finishes today. And we're looking to keep that going throughout the season. Hopefully we can get back to the top soon, if we're not already there, and then plan to stay there for the rest of the season.
And don't forget, viewers at home, Movie Go Racing are on both Facebook and Twitter with regular updates from their progress in this and the various other races they take part in. So Linus would sure appreciate it, and the rest of the team, if you give them a subscribe, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, we would like that. Try and keep it updated as much as possible.
Well, thanks for talking to us, and let's see you out on track the next week.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
That's Linus Brewstrom there, and obviously both drivers have their own opinions on that. But do you know what, Adam? It's great to hear that he's going to be talking to Pete after that, rather than just sort of throwing blame around and that kind of thing. And that just shows, how well these drivers do get on and how they can settle their differences, even when things like that do occur.
Yeah, they race hard on the racetrack, but then they're friends off the racetrack. It's good to see that kind of sportsmanship.
And we've got a request for where did Craig Burleson finish? So that would have come up in the results, but I'm just having a look now. It's a good question, actually. He didn't appear in the results. So where is Craig Burleson in the results?
Did he get involved in the crash at the start?
Well, no, we saw him racing in 6th place. He was running in 6th for a while, but finished 43rd in the end, so we're not really sure. We're not really sure how that happened. We didn't see it on the cameras, at least. But something must have happened to him, so not the best evening for any of the CQR drivers, really, has to be said. But fascinating racing. Once again, apologies for missing round 4. There's no coverage of round 4. We missed out on that one, my fault there. And round 5 is available. Great race in round 5, and a great race in round 6 as well, Adam.
Yeah, I thought Silverstone was good. This was just as good, if not better. I can't wait for Suzuka next week.
That's right, Suzuka next week. 3 races, rounds 7, 8 and 9, coming at you live from 8:15 PM, then 9, then 9:45. Basically a whole evening of touring car racing live on BSR TV. And next time we'll be in action is going to be from Silverstone in the Skip Barbers, which will be Monday, and that will be at 8:40 PM. Live once again. Join me and Matt Dalton for that one. And the GT Sprint Cup will be live on Tuesday as well. Different team for that one. Same great racing, same great coverage here on BSR TV. Hope you can join us from 8:15 on Tuesdays. So from me and Adam, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.